Your average garage is not a really great place to be. For the most part, they end up becoming a junk storage that can't even house a car. In South Florida, they are often converted into rental units called deficiencies. While mine still had a car in it, it wasn't very nice. This is what my garage used to look like. It was cluttered, the floors were dirty, there were stains on the walls, tons of damaged drywall, and very poor lighting. The very first fix is to upgrade the lighting with LED recessed lights. This will set the stage and provide visibility for the next steps. At this point, I wasn't sure how I would arrange the lights, but I did know I wanted a separate circuit by the garage door since these would be covered when the door is open. I'm going to go ahead and remove the plate there, take out that switch, and I'm going to take out the box that it has around it, the electrical box that's inside the wall. Then I'm going to cut the wall open for the larger conversion box, and before installing the conversion box, I'll run the wire that's going to go to the far side of the garage where the door is. So unfortunately, I found that there's a stud on either side of this switch here. So in order for me to add the double switch, I'm going to have to cut into the metal of this stud right here in order to create the spacing I'm going to need. That's not going to be a major deal. However, in order for me to run the wires and everything, I'm going to need lighting. This is not going to be as quick as I thought it would be. So I'm going to actually go ahead and drill all the holes in the ceiling for the recessed lights so that then I can go ahead and cut that, drop the wire in there, and clean all that up. So this is roughly the pattern that I've chosen to do for the light layout. Now, I did buy a box of 16, but I wouldn't like to use all 16 in here. That would be a tad excessive. So what I've decided to do is actually to use 12. So up towards the side of the wall between the garage and my house, I'm going to go ahead and line 4. So that's what you see on the far right. Then I'm going to have 2 rows of 3 running down the length of the garage, and towards the front garage door, I'm going to just have 2 of them on the outer corners. This garage is about 26 feet by 17 feet roughly, so that translates to about 204 inches in one direction, 312 in the other. I've gone ahead and subdivided that into a bunch of sections in order to determine my light layout and kind of the way that I want it to look. I'm pretty satisfied with this, so I'm going to go ahead and start marking up the holes and start drilling. Because of how long some of these measurements are and how difficult it would be for me to attempt to do this just using a measuring tape, I've got my 2 longest measurements marked out on a very long board. And that is going to allow me to line that up on the wall and determine where those measurements are, make a mark, and then go across and make my shorter distance marks with more ease. In order to drill the holes in the walls, I got this setup. What this basically is a 4-inch hole saw. It's got a centering drill bit, and then it's got this plastic cup around it that's basically to catch the bulk of the dust that's generated when you're doing your cut. There's still going to be quite a bit of dust around here, but this should help to reduce the amount of dust generated while we're doing this. With all the holes done, it was now time to run wires to them. For this purpose, I went through the attic above the garage. I did the ones closest to the opening of the attic first. For the next few, I placed a tube on top of a stepladder and into each hole. This allowed me to see the location of each hole up in the attic. From there, it's just a matter of Spider-Man crawling all the way to each hole and back. That and several trips out of the attic and then back up. I've run a series of wires up here. Don't mind the random things left behind by the previous owners. I've set up a box here where I've tied up a couple wires that are going to run to the same switch. This is basically going to be a junction box for the secondary circuit that goes over the garage door. And as you can see, there are wires strewn everywhere, running into the depths of my attic from where I had to crawl in order to actually be able to bring these wires over here. Once all the wire routing was done, it was now just a matter of connecting the LED lights. Each light has a junction box with one white wire and one black wire. You use wing nuts to tie them into the same color wires coming out of each Romex cable. Romex cable being the white wire that I've run throughout my entire attic. Once that's complete, you wire up the Romex at the switch and your lights will have power. Of course, you also need to screw the LED light into each junction box. I recommend doing the part about wiring the Romex at the switch at the very end with the breaker turned off, this being a safety precaution to avoid electrical shock. Alright, so I've got the front part of the garage completely lit. Now I've just got to get the lights that go over the garage door and set up their switch, and they should be running beautifully. Here's section 1. And here's section 2. Now my garage is fully lit. Check that out.